Hello everyone, it's me Arden Lee. I am back with another video, and in today's video I am going to talk about what to do if you find yourself over and over again giving into momentary distractions to numb out on your life and going for instant gratification rather than working on your long-term goals, right? We've all been there. We've all been in that place where we're like, I just want to chill out and eat Ben and Jerry's and watch Netflix tonight, and I don't want to plan for. I don't want to be in that state where I'm really thinking about all of my choices. I know there's a ton of stuff that I have to do, but I just want to numb out for a little while. How do we stop that? How do we start to look at our choices in a conscious manner again, so we can start to really engage with and achieve our long-term goals? So before I get into that topic, of course, as always, if you have not yet done so, I would love to invite you to subscribe to my channel or like my page, depending on what platform you are viewing this video on. And if you're not yet familiar with me and my work, my name is Arden Lee. I am the creator of the Repatterning Project, which is an 8-week course where we hack our beliefs, we optimize our patterns, we examine everything that we're doing in our lives, we bring awareness to our choices that we're making as our daily habitual routines. And we engineer them so that we can achieve our goals on our path to success, happiness, personal fulfillment, self-improvement, and all that good stuff. So if that sounds like your jam, go ahead and check out the description box where I have left a link to a free PDF guide about the Repatterning Project so you can figure out what it is that we do. And I also have a link in that box to the Repatterning Parlor, which is a group on Facebook that I moderate full of like-minded individuals who are also there for their own personal growth and happiness. So go ahead and check those out, and hopefully I will see you there. All right, so for today we're talking about how to break that pattern of just numbing out and going for what's right there, going for just what feels good in the moment instead of investing in our long-term growth. Now, the first thing that I'm going to say is probably nothing that you're ever going to hear from another self-improvement coach ever. So it'll probably be pretty controversial. But the first thing I'm going to say is give yourself some time. So often, when our bodies are really calling for rest, there is a reason for it. There's a reason for the fact that we do want to reach for that thing that's easy, that's right there. If we're going through a time of personal transformation, if we're going through a lot of internal growth, sometimes it's exhausting. And if you're someone who's watching these videos and you're on that path yourself, the amount of work that your mind is doing, that your mental faculties are doing, can in itself be exhausting. So I would actually encourage you to take a set amount of time where you are just going to bore yourself to death. This is actually something that I did before I embarked on my my business coaching with my coach and one of my best friends, Adam Lyons. I knew that that point in time that I was going to need so much momentum to spring forward that I actually backwards engineered that momentum by boring the fuck out of myself for at least a good 2 weeks before I went and jumped into that training. And there's so many people out there who will tell you, like, like, move forward, inspired action, go. But really, like, the point of that is inspired action, right? The point of that is actually feeling that inspiration. And if you're forcing yourself, then that's probably not actually going to get you the result you want. So what creates inspiration? Boredom, right? So this is kind of a dark analogy, but if you guys saw the I've only ever seen one episode of Black Mirror, and after that I was like, nope, no more. But the one episode I saw was the Black Mirror Christmas special, the one with John Hamm, Don Draper, playing the pickup artist teacher guy, because someone felt that, like, since I had been involved in pickup before, that that I should, I don't know, watch it. It kind of scared me. But there's that part where the woman splits off her consciousness into her little tablet, and the part of her that is the consciousness existing in the tablet is resisting doing anything productive because she doesn't want to be told what to do. And what the John Hamm character does to train her mentally is he adjusts the time in her like AI tablet space so that 6 months go by with her just being in this blank room doing nothing. And sure enough, at the end of the 6 months that he's engineered on the computer program or whatever, which for him goes by in a couple seconds. Sure enough, he opens the app again, and there she is, and she's all, her hair is all a mess, and looks like she's just gone stir crazy in this blank room, and she's like, please, please give me something to do. So this is such some backward advice for what most motivational coaches are going to tell you. But if you really want to engineer your state, you will create the thing that makes you want to do something, and sometimes that state is just boring yourself to death, right? Now, you really want to watch, because if you're doing this for more than 2 weeks at a time, or you're doing this for more of a period than starts to feel comfortable, then yeah, of course you want to find ways to get jump started and ways to get motivated. But my magic mentor, Grant Morrison, famously said that the way to achieve to achieve world peace, for example, is to inoculate yourself against war. You have the most awful, most destructive war that anyone's ever had, and nobody wants to fight again after that because they're so tired of it, right? There's kind of a reason that we are teetering at this point in our own American history, that we are teetering on the brink of more potential nuclear holocaust and more civil rights violations, more awful tragedies of humanity. And that's because we're reaching that point where the people who are alive today have almost forgotten the atrocities of World War II, right? If we remember those things, it's like, if those who don't remember history are doomed to repeat it, but if you inoculate yourself against the thing that is the opposite of what you want, then that creates the thing that you want, right? So if you are noticing yourself numbing out and not treating your body well, and not making those decisions that further you along the path to your goals, I would give yourself a good 2-week span and say, I'm not allowed to even work on anything I want to work on, right? It's really interesting. There are some intimacy coaches there who talk about like what to do if you're having a hard time achieving orgasm. And one of the tips that I've always thought that actually like weirdly like works for me as well is this woman Jaya Ma. She's super badass. She says, she's like, if I'm having that trouble in the moment, I'll tell myself like I'm not allowed to have an orgasm. Be like, you better not come. And then she's like, I come in an instant, right? So if you actually take like a good 2-week stretch, I would go up to a month, but I probably wouldn't do much more than a month, because at that time, you risk actually setting a pattern and falling into that. I would say 2 weeks is actually about optimal, because 3 weeks is around when a pattern really starts to develop as a habit. But I would keep in mind all the things that you want to do, and I would say you're not allowed to do them. Like, don't go work on the stuff that you want to work on. Don't go improve your life. All you're allowed to do is like sit and watch Netflix and play stupid games on your computer or whatever. Like, I play stupid games on my phone all the time when I just need to like defragment or whatever. I would take that time and do that, so that by the end of that 2-week period, you're like, oh my God, I'm ready to go work. Like, I want to go work. I'm excited about it, right? So I understand that sounds kind of backwards. The other thing that you really want to do is you want to make sure you're zooming out at the same time. As I said, you don't want to get into that point where you're numbing out on instant gratification and making it a pattern, right? So for me, what was really important was I had a date set where I knew I was going to start my my coaching with my coach, and that I was going to really need a lot of forward momentum for that. So I was like, I've got that date. It's set right in the future, and I'm taking these next 2.5 weeks to do all of my numbing out, so that by the time that date gets here, I'm going to be ready to really like slingshot myself forward, right? If I had spent those 2 weeks being really busy and filling my schedule with things to do, I probably would have gotten to Austin, where I went and visited Adam to kick off my coaching in person. I would have been exhausted by that time, right? It was actually better for me in the long run to bore myself, so that I was excited, so that by the time those couple weeks passed, and I was ready to have that forward movement, that I was inspired and that I wanted to do it. So of course, what's also important is being able to, what's going to be destructive about this if you don't bring mindfulness to it is if you are simply allowing the pattern to set and not seeing that space in the future where you do take that action. So you want to zoom out a little bit, zoom out your vision, be able to see your timeline and say, okay, this is the point at which I want to start. I'm going to put off everything that I'm doing until this point, and I'm going to give myself that time to numb out. But at this point, I'm going to really start going for my goals. And you want to know what those goals are. You want to have clarity on that, and then you want to let those ideas marinate. Let those things gestate. Sometimes when I'm like, I'm going to start writing a book, I've had a book in mind to write for a while now that I haven't done. And so many people would be like, oh yeah, I'm always going to write that book one day. Sit down and do it. But for me, what really works best for me is if I start to gather all of those ideas so that by the time I actually sit down and write it, then they're all just there and the book just kind of falls out, so that, because I've been thinking about it so much in my mind and not letting myself sit down and write it, because I don't want to write it from a place where it feels forced. I want it to gestate first, I want to grow that little zygote of a book before I sit down and actually start working on it. So that's certainly what works for me. Of course, that trap is, having the pattern get set, but if you zoom out and if you look at your choices in front of you and bring conscious, mindful awareness to it, then you can really use that period of numbing out and instant gratification to inoculate yourself against it. You guys, there's only so much Ben and Jerry's we can eat. There's only so much, there's only so much we can do that until we get absolutely sick of it. So go ahead and get sick of it. Let yourself get sick of it. And when you're genuinely sick of it, you're going to be like, oh my God, enough already. I'm ready. I've been doing this lately with turning myself into a morning person. I've been just thinking about this idea of being a morning person and thinking about how I am so quickly becoming no longer in alignment with someone who just, sleeps in and doesn't have a solid morning routine. That this morning when my cat woke me up because he wanted to get fed, once I woke up and actually fed him or whatever, I was actually like, I don't want to crawl back into bed. I'm awake now. I have the opportunity to be this amazing morning person that I'm trying to become right now. Like, I'm already up. I'm already out of bed. But it took me a good month or two of gestating that idea before it actually started to take hold. So holding that idea in your mind, preparing yourself for it mentally while you're numbing out, rather than having guilt around procrastination, holding the idea in your mind and let it gestate and letting yourself get excited about it. So rather than avoiding it because you can't stand the idea because you're so worried about procrastinating, hold it in your mind and be like, I can't wait till I'm that person. Oh my God, I can't wait till I'm writing my new thing. I can't wait till I'm getting up in the morning or whatever. I'm so sick of this numbing out. I'm so sick of Ben and Jerry's and playing Bejeweled on my phone all night or watching Netflix or whatever it is that you're doing. Just let yourself get sick of it. So try that out and let me know how it works for you because I may be one of the only ones who's doing that. I hope this is helpful. I'll see you next time.